Burgundy Ballers, welcome back to another episode of the Ballin in Burgundy podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
And guys, I know what you're most thinking. Man, John's got a nice setup. He's finally got some equipment. He's not just a bum. Well, it is not my equipment. It is my uncle's equipment, who is the host or co-host of the Growing Up Rock podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Music, Spotify, the whole nine. Check it out, especially if you're into rock music. You're gonna like that stuff. But it's just me, my guy Chris. Chris, what's going on?
After a dismal loss last night, okay, I guess.
Yeah, it was a rough loss. And then you wake up this morning, it's Black Friday. For those who are watching, happy Thanksgiving, happy Black Friday, future Cyber Monday, happy holidays, whatever you want to call it. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving and you got some presents for Black Friday. Let's talk about it. 45 to 10. 45 to 10. It was 20 to 10 in halftime. And I knew in the bottom of my heart, in the bottom of my soul, this was not going to turn out. I turned to my pops, sitting right on my left. I said, you know what's gonna happen, right? He said, what's gonna happen? I said the collapse is gonna happen. We were talking about collapse. The Washington collapse, didn't you know? You were down at halftime, and then you're gonna let them just blow their load the rest of the night. It's 20 to 10 right now. We're gonna lose about 25. He said, yeah, probably. Like, really? It was 10 to 13 with like 50 seconds left on the clock, right?
And
Dallas gets the ball back. They score within 50 seconds.
yeah, what the? I
You
think, and not to cut you off, and sort of am, and I apologize for that.
you good?
And if Dallas doesn't do that with those 50 seconds, they don't do that. Jack Del Rio is probably our defensive coordinator here still right now.
Probably. Probably. Well, here's the funny thing, right? We go into halftime with about two, if not all of our timeouts remaining. Interesting, right?
Yeah,
You would have thought that Ron would have said timeout, to somewhat let us get the ball back. No,
yeah.
didn't happen. Kick off of the third quarter, kick off of the second half, the third quarter, right? We get them to punt a few times here and there, and hold them to this. We hold them to a field goal here and there. So it's 23-10, right? There was no scoring in the third quarter. We kept punt, 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 turn it around downs, punt, 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 whatever that case may be, right?
Yeah.
Fourth quarter comes around. They kick a field goal. Our next drive right after that, Parsons and Fowler get on a sack, and we go for it on 4th and 1. Jonathan Haskins has another sack. They take over on our 29-yard line, right? CeeDee Lamb
Mhm.
gets a touchdown on Quan Martin, and then he gets the 2-point conversion on Percy Butler, 31-10 with about 10 and a half minutes left in the fourth. We get another drive, another failed 4th and 3. They take over on their 35-yard line with 8 minutes left. And you know what happens? They go down the field. Cavante Turpin, the XFL MVP, no WWE, gets a 34-yard touchdown, right?
Yep.
You want to know who was in coverage on that?
Let's see.
Jamin Davis,
Oh, yep.
Mr.
Surprise, surprise.
52, Mr. 4440 himself, right? So there's 38-10 with about 6 minutes left, right?
Yep.
Our next drive, you know what that turns into?
Pick six by DaRon Bland.
DaRon Bland breaks the NFL record for pick sixes in a season. He now has 5.
Well, it
He,
was gonna come against us, so
yep. He said, "Let me go to McDonald's. Let me get a McPick six and ba da ba 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 my way to another stat." His paychecks after these games must be preposterous.
yep. I
So and
mean,
we keep going and we keep going. We close the game 45-10. And you want to know the touchdown celebration they chose after that Camonte Turpin touchdown?
uh, let's see. They go into the salvation bucket
Yep.
thing, grab a bag, take it over to the sideline, and start eating a turkey leg
Them turkey
with 5
legs.
minutes to go in the game.
Yep.
Disrespectful.
So our game was at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, about 1:30 for those on the West Coast. Our West Coast people, what is up? We love y'all. We closed the game about 7. No. About 6:30, 7 o'clock, right?
Yep.
Maybe 7:30. Not even 24 hours later, about 16 hours later this morning, I'm driving to go to Fleet Feet, my favorite sneaker store. I gotta get some new sneakers. I gotta get some new insoles. So I'm in the back seat. I'm in the back seat, just chilling on my phone. I'm doing some reporting. I'm doing some stories for the BIB store, Instagram. If y'all been, don't already, head over to Instagram. Go follow us all over there. Head over to TikTok. Go follow us over there too. And if you're like and subscribe. And all I see is Ian Rappaport saying, dun 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 dun, there's been a shift in Washington. I said, oh, Jack Del Rio's been fired. I said, hallelujah.
Yep.
I said, hallelujah. You would have thought I just won the world heavyweight title at WrestleMania. I was celebrating in the car. I said, this Black Friday is phenomenal. And not only was Jack Del Rio fired, but defensive backs coach Brett Meyer, whatever his last name is, don't care, don't give a damn what his last name is. He got fired as well. I would have sent the linebacking coach personally with him.
Yeah.
And you want to know? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, didn't we used to have a guy named like Chris Harris
Chris Harris.
that was our defensive backs coach, and he was actually coaching them up? And
Yep.
then we get a dude from a high school.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know who he is.
Nope.
Never heard of the guy's name till this morning when he got fired.
Yep.
So what the
Yep.
hell were we thinking?
He was an assistant coach under Del Rio when he was, I think, the Raiders head coach, or the Raiders linebacking coach, and then he was the head coach down in Jacksonville, back in the 2010s. Yeah, that's how bad it was. So guess who's going to take over play calling for the defense?
Let's see. Not Ryan Kerrigan.
Nope.
It's not obviously Eric Bieniemy.
Nope.
It's not even, let's see, the linebackers coach.
Nope. This man has got double R in his initials.
Double R.
Double R.
Is he the head coach right now? Oh, it's Ron Rivera.
It's Riverboat Ron. Triple R, no Triple H.
Wow.
So Riverboat Ron hasn't play called the defense, and more importantly, hasn't really play called at all since 2019.
Yeah, boy.
Yep. We have the 30th ranked defense when it comes to, I believe, yards, and 31st in points per game. We are atrocious, abysmal. I told my family, if you want your nice young quarterback to look like an absolute Hall of Famer, if you want him to look like Tom Brady, what? Drew Brees. What? Patrick Mahomes. What? Look like Philip Rivers. What? Eli Manning. What? Justin Herbert. What? Josh Allen. What? Come play Washington. Come play the Commanders. Prime example, Tommy DeVito.
Oh, God, don't even get me started on that one.
Made him look like a Hall of Famer, all-pro. You would have thought Eli was out there. You would have thought Joe Namath was out there in a blue and white uniform. But no, it was Tommy DeVito. And then yesterday, and as you guys see this, it'll be on Friday, we made Dak Prescott into the greatest QB those Cowboys have ever seen in their life. You want to know what his stat line was?
Let's see, like 4 touchdowns, 400 yards, and
22 of 32, 331 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, and he picked him an extra 10 yards on the ground. He had 10
That's crazy.
incompletions the entire game. He has as many incompletions as we had points.
That's wild. That's insane.
Yep. Tony Pollard had a rushing touchdown. Brandon Cooks had a receiving touchdown. CeeDee Lamb had one. Devontae Turpin had one. Rico Dowdle, no, he's not related to me. Rico Dowdle, the running back, had a receiving touchdown. And their defense, Jonathan Hankins, 2 sacks. Micah Parsons, a sack and a half, right? Fowler Jr. with that half sack. And then DaRon Bland with the Mick pick six to seal the game.
That's insane.
Yep. And you want to know what our Commanders did?
Nothing.
Not a whole lot, right? We had about just a little over 100 yards on the ground total. B-Rob 15 to 53, Gibson 6 of 21, Rodriguez 4 of 21, and Sam Howell 2 of 13 with a ballsy rushing touchdown. You thought he was going to pitch it. Oh, no, he took that in himself. That's what we're thankful for, Sam Howell's ability to run with the football. Curtis Samuel finally broke 100 yards this season. 9 of 100 yards even.
Wild.
Where was Terry McLaurin? Absolutely covered. Call him hash browns at Waffle House. He was covered. He was covered, smothered, and all around cooked. He had 4 for 50.
Well, you see, he did. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. The one thing is, he would have had a catch on Stephon Gilmore, and this would have gotten us down the field had the refs called it, because you see on the replay Stephon Gilmore holding Terry McLaurin's arm for McLaurin not to be able to catch the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I don't know if that was the drive where Sam Howell took it in himself to score the touchdown, or if it was maybe before, but they could have easily went up maybe 10-7, or would have scored to make it 14-10 if it was the same drive that Sam Howell walked on in for the touchdown, which I didn't mind, because let's be real about Sam Howell. Other than the one interception, he did not play bad. He really did not, and he continues to prove why here in Washington. He's the franchise quarterback. He is our guy for the future. And with him and Eric Bieniemy's scheme, it's looking well. Curtis Samuel
I don't know about well.
To an extent, I think it's looking well, because game after game after game after game, it seems like it's getting better for Howell, because the guy is obviously leading the league in passing yards, and he just threw for 300 yesterday. So, I mean, and then Curtis Samuel getting, over 100. He's not even our wide receiver 1. He's like our wide receiver 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's getting 100. He's getting 100.
Mm-hmm.
What the? And not to keep going on, I know you probably saw this, because I believe I sent it into our group chat that we are in, about players being unhappy with Eric Bieniemy.
I saw that too. Saw this morning.
You know what? I'm gonna kind of defend EB here. It is not his fault that he is trying to coach up the players, and the players don't want to go out there and play. Fair. Honestly. Because it showed yesterday. It showed Thursday night against Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
It showed against the Giants both games.
Showed against the Bears,
It showed against the Bears, the Bills,
Bills,
um, hell, even a little against Arizona, to be honest,
and Denver.
and Denver until they made the ultimate comeback.
Yeah.
It's like the only game they want to show up for was against the Eagles.
Yep.
Like,
And we still got
what is?
slapped.
Yeah, yeah, we lost those 2 games. Were they close? Yes. Did we get slapped? Yes. But we showed up and actually wanted to play those games. I mean, other than the games we kind of won, we haven't done nothing.
Mm-mm.
Even Arizona, we kind of did nothing. That was Montez Sweat and the defense that won us that game.
Yep.
So, what is
Yeah.
this, you know?
I don't know. Here's the crazy part, right? So we put up 10 points. We let up 45. We had 25 more plays. Almost 14 minutes more of time of possession. 3 less penalties for 23 less yards. The same amount of punts. We let up 4 sacks. We had no pressures on Dak Prescott. We let him do whatever he wanted back there in that pocket. And we lost by 35.
Oh, just imagine what Miami's going to do to us come next Sunday. I mean, you saw, did you see the Miami game?
Yep,
Today?
Miami versus Jets tonight as we record. Yeah, they just won 31-13?
34-13.
34-13?
Yeah.
Against a supposed Super Bowl caliber defense.
Yeah. I mean, now let's be real. Let's give the, let's give the Dolphins credit. They have a dominating defense. And when you have a defense like that, the Jets offense isn't going to do well.
No. Yeah, I mean, it helps when you have a Hail Mary 95-yard, 99-yard pick six
How you let that up?
to end the first half. So you said 34, or let's take off 7. There's 27 right there. So 27-13, that's still a 2-score game, right? You have Tim
Boy.
starting
Whatever his name is.
starting at quarterback, right? And I believe it was not Mike White, because Zach Wilson was QB3. I forget who their backup quarterback.
Trevor Siemian.
Trevor Siemian. The Bears got rid of Trevor Siemian. He went to the Jets, right?
Yep.
Tim Boyle is your starting quarterback. Miami ate him alive.
Yep.
Ate him alive. What do you think they're going to do? Because the Jets are supposedly have a decent offensive line. Is it great? No. Is it injury riddled? Yes. Can they still block? Relatively. We can't block worth a spit.
Well, and here's the crazy thing. Miami just lost their best pass rusher.
And Jalen Phillips, other linebacker.
Yeah. Who's probably going to be out for the rest of the year now because it was a non-contact injury.
Yep, not Achilles injury.
Oh, geez. I wonder who has that. Aaron Rodgers.
It was Rodgers all along.
Who, by the way, there's been reports of him possibly that didn't even tear his Achilles.
There's questions.
But enough about, Aaron Rodgers, the Jets, and the Dolphins. We'll get into that, whenever we do predictions. The game between Washington and Dallas yesterday was the most viewed game. 44 million people watch Dallas whip Washington.
Have y'all, in the comment section, I want y'all to tell me, have y'all heard of that wretched song, Dick Down in Dallas?
Oh, yes, I have.
That's exactly what happened. We participated in the Riley Reid Challenge and just got absolutely rammed.
Not only that, you know who did the introduction to the game?
Who?
A certain Washington's Legends daughter, Sean Taylor's daughter, did the introduction to the game.
Jackie Taylor. Shout out to Jackie. That was beautiful.
Yeah, shout out.
Jackie, CBS, Santana, all the guys
Yeah.
responsible for that. Shout out to them because that was absolutely beatable. And she said at the end, "Hey, Washington, go beat Dallas."
Beat
And we said,
Dallas.
"Nah."
And I'm not going to blame the loss on any of them, but kind of a coincidence. When anytime we have like a Legends thing, either at FedEx Field or on the TV, we proceed to lose. And that's what happened yesterday. Now, to answer this, the first two drives, right? I believe it was the second drive that's when we put up the field goal,
I
right?
believe so.
Or was it the third drive? It may have been one of those two. If Washington goes up 10-0,
It, it,
or
it, it was the third drive because there was a third
the third
drive
drive,
to basically kick off the second quarter.
okay, third drive, we get it, right?
Hmm.
Let's say we, either get somehow two touchdowns, two field goals, or a field goal and a touchdown before the third drive where we score. That changes the entire complexion of the game.
Yep.
Even though, Washington would have been down or would have been up, it changes the entire complexion of the game. Because let's say it happens, right? You're up 13-7 at that point, and then Dallas does the whole walk down the field
Hmm.
thing to go up 14-13. You're thinking with 26 seconds left, oh, dude, you could go down here and get a field goal
Or at least
and
try
maybe
to.
take the lead, or at least try to, and maybe take the lead going into halftime. No, that didn't even happen. So then you're thinking, okay, all right, you're down what, 20-10 at half, 14-10.
2010.
You're thinking, you're like, man, if we had gotten those points on the first two drives, different ball game.
Yep.
Because then you still, yes, have to depend on your defense, but then you could keep it close to where you could have walked down the field, got in the field goal range,
Yep.
take the lead,
Take the lead.
to
But no.
where you were down. The defense got you your stop that you needed.
Hmm.
And let's see, you're walking down the field. 4th and 1 comes up. 4th and 1. So what do you think? Let's see. Option A, run the ball up the middle with Brian Robinson.
Try that, get
Option
stuffed.
B, the stupid tush push play that you could do.
To try.
Option C, let's see, run a let's see, maybe somehow do a quarterback draw with Sam Howell. Or option D, run an outside sweep with Brian Robinson. Which one of those options do you think we chose?
A and D.
Oh, A and D. Okay. A and D. Sort of correct, but it was option D because we ran outside sweep with
Yep.
Brian Robinson instead of, you know, doing a tush push play or
Hmm.
a QB sneak or a QB draw.
How about being proficient enough not to have to go for it on fourth down? Possibility.
Exactly.
Here's my
And I think
question. If we're in Dallas territory, we're at about the 40, maybe the 35-yard line. Why on
uh-huh.
earth are you going for it on fourth down? Kick the field goal.
Yeah. Kick the field goal.
I said it
Because
before. And my dad, with my pops watching, he was like, "Man, I would go for it too. Maybe am I good?" I said, "No, take your points. This
yeah,
defense isn't built to let us come from behind." But what about the Cardinals game? You guys did it against Philly both times. You guys did it against Denver. We went 2-2 respectively in those games. It should have been 1-3 in those games. You remember
yes.
Buffalo? Didn't happen. Remember the Giants game? Didn't happen. Both
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. And let's be real. I feel like and this sort of goes back to the Montez Sweat and Chase Young trade. When that happened, you basically gave up on the season. You basically did at that point. If they had just traded Chase Young, fans could honestly, they would have lived with it. They would have been like, okay, fine, cool, whatever. Getting rid of Montez Sweat, though? Yeah, you kind of gave up on the season, basically, at that point.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people didn't have hope in going into that game, but I had hope because it was Dallas week and it was Thanksgiving, and I still had somewhat hope of going to the playoffs, especially if we had won that game last night.
I didn't.
I would have had hope
Nope.
because that's who I am. But no,
Nope.
and all these people that are saying, "Oh, fire Ron Rivera," da 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 da. I hope we get
Yes.
crushed by Dallas. Let's be real. If we had won that game, you know what all those fans would have done? They would have celebrated because we beat Dallas on Thanksgiving in their house. Did it? No, and I didn't want to hear any of that from the fans. Yes, I was pissed off because we lost and everything like that, and
Yep.
it hurts. But I mean, that's just being real,
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, now with Jack Del Rio being fired, what do you do if the defense somehow goes from 31st to 25? What do you do with Ron Rivera? Do you say, hey, look, we'll keep you here, but you'll be a defensive coordinator?
No, I'm not keeping him.
Or do you just flat out say, you know what, we're firing you, goodbye, and then you hire Jim Schwartz as your defensive coordinator? Because look what he's doing up in Cleveland right now. Has the number one ranked defense in the league.
Yeah,
Has the number one.
but you want to but guess who's ahead of that defense?
Who?
A generational. I said it. I'm gonna go. I said it. Generational edge rusher in Myles Garrett. You've got linebackers and JOK and Anthony Walker, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah and Anthony Walker and Sion Takitaki, right? You've got
Yes.
corners and Martin Emerson and Denzel Ward, the Ward. You've also got someone named Zadarius Smith on the other edge of Myles Garrett, former first-round pick, Zadarius Smith, right? They've got pieces out the wazoo. All they're missing is a star defensive tackle, right?
Yes.
If you slot in a DARON Payne or Jonathan Allen on that Cleveland defense, that is every D coordinator's wet dream.
Yep. So the reason I say, you know what, you could hire that guy. Yes, his record in Detroit did not look so hot whatsoever. But he can build up a defense. And he's better than, well, I'm not going to say he's better than Bill Belichick, even though Belichick didn't really win 6 Super Bowls. It was more Tom Brady that won 6 Super Bowls.
I'm not getting into that conversation. I got an argument on both sides.
That's a conversation for
another
a
day.
different episode that, I'm pretty sure we'll end up getting into.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually. Let's be real though. You bring that guy in, you sign a couple of pieces on defense like a Josh Allen, a Daniil Hunter,
Josh Uche.
or even a Derek Barnett, who the Eagles just released. You know what? Because of how thin we are at defensive end, I would say go ahead and just sign the guy already.
He's only owed like another $1 million. I think only like $540,000. But
Exactly.
what about Andre Jones? What about KJ Henry? What about Derek Barnett, former first round pick, former Super Bowl champion? What's it gonna hurt? Oh, $1 million out of cap space, and it's depth. So what happens if Jones Jr. or KJ get hurt? What are you gonna do now? I think it's on IR.
Yeah.
Are you gonna put Cody Barton at edge rusher? Kill me.
And you could just use him as a rental until the season is done. Unless you honestly want to say, hey, look, we'll sign you. And depending on how you do these last 4 games, right?
Yep.
Well, depending on how you do, you're either A, gonna be gone, or B, we'll keep you
For another year or two.
for a year or two because of our depth.
Yep. Because he's only like
Right now.
27. That's a crazy thing.
Exactly.
He's only 27 or 28. He's fairly young when it comes to age wise. Yeah. Oh, but Josh Allen he's gonna be 26. But Daniel Hunter is gonna be 27. Uche is gonna be 27. 1 year rental.
And
What
you know who's still a free agent right now?
Shaq Leonard.
Facts.
However, have you seen that contract though? It's 16 mil the next 3 seasons. That's a hefty contract for a guy that gets injured a lot.
Yeah, but is that where you could, just say, we're going to. I don't think you could throw out his current contract.
It's almost unmovable. That's why they released him. I think it was contract.
I was going to say, because what you could have done, you could have also used him as a rental because, let's be real, anybody's better than Cody Barton and David Mayo, who is Justin's favorite player,
Yep. Here's my question. Why do we keep putting number 57, Cody Brickhands Barton, in coverage?
We need to be sending him on blitz.
Blitz didn't matter. They protected Dak. You would have thought that man was back there in a virgin condom. He was protected.
Yeah.
Wasn't getting touched, wasn't getting pressured, nothing.
Yeah.
And here's the crazy thing did you watch part of Ron Rivera's press conference?
Today?
Yep.
I didn't really get to watch it.
If I can find the clip or the notes from it, one of the reporters was saying, what did you guys do about Del Rio and Bieniemy possibly fighting on the sidelines? I said, excuse me?
What?
They were doing what? If I was both offense, defense, I would have turned into Kareem Hunt, Ray Rice, OJ Simpson, Conor McGregor. I would have started laying hands.
Well, didn't hear that till just now. So, you know what? If that
Surprise.
is the case, then Josh Harris honestly needs to sit down with, Eric Bieniemy and Ron Rivera and say, look, you do what you have to do on offense to get this team down the field, and you need to actually be coaching up these guys and do what you can on defense, because we are getting our teeth kicked in, and I pretty much gave up on the season last night after that loss. So what am I looking forward to now? Draft day. Come April.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I guarantee you, we'll be sitting here come July or August of next year and say, yeah, I actually like this team where it's going. I think we're going to make the playoffs. And then come next year, the day after Thanksgiving, depending on what our record is, we'll either be saying, A, oh yeah, we are going to the playoffs. I feel confident in this team. Or B, we'll be sitting right here where we are right now saying the same thing we are saying right now.
Yep. Well, it was and reports are it was Del Rio and Bieniemy getting to that fight based off the press conference. It wasn't Ron Rivera, but Jack is now gone, so yes. We potentially will have a top 5 draft pick. If the Giants, I believe, if the Giants beat the Patriots, if Tennessee wins, and I think if someone else loses, we have a top 5 draft pick.
You know what? If we were to get a top 5 draft pick, I say go ahead and honestly just tank the year.
If we have a top 5 draft pick, it's 2019 all over again.
Yeah, basically. And here's the thing. You go ahead and fire Ron Rivera at the end of the season. Go ahead.
Yep.
Do it. You promote EB the head coach, although I don't know if that's going to happen because of the reports that have came out.
Yeah,
And if you
players
don't,
are not liking the power he has. They want Rivera to have the power back again. I said,
well, it's
but
also because they're lazy. They show
it
no
feels
heart.
that way.
They show no emotion. They show nothing. Unless you're playing the Eagles, then that's it.
It's starting to feel that
Um,
way.
yeah. Um, you get rid of it now. Let's say they get rid of Eric Bieniemy, right? And they just absolutely clean deck and clean house. You know, there's a certain offensive coordinator that is looking for a head coaching job. And he comes out of Detroit. The name of Ben Johnson, who I wouldn't mind if he was the head coach and he calls the offensive plays.
I don't know if I would put him the head coach just yet. I would probably keep him more at or at a offensive coordinator at OC because I don't want to push his buttons too early. Look at Josh McDaniels,
Yes, that's true.
head coach of the Denver Broncos, god awful. Goes back to New England, looks pretty good, right? Let's give him a contract in Las Vegas. Just got fired like 2 weeks ago for how god awful he was. I wouldn't want to push Ben Johnson just yet.
Well, see, that's the thing though. Let's say we do clean house. Who do you hire as your head coach then?
There's a few guys actually, and if you guys follow Rio Robinson, he's put a lot of people up there, and for good reason. The guys like Slovic out of Houston, their offensive coordinator, who actually has experience at OC, if I'm not mistaken, compared to Ben Johnson, I might take that. And
You know
then
what?
we bring in Johnson as offensive coordinator, have two eyes on the football at all times. I'm okay with that.
You know what? Hear me out. Look at the Rams. Look at what they're doing, right? I
Tanking,
don't know
no,
what their
not very
record is,
good. I'll pull it up.
but let's say they have another double-digit loss season, right? Do you, if you're Josh Harris and Magic Johnson, do you call up the Los Angeles Rams and say, hey, look, what do we have to give you in order to get Sean McVay here as our head coach in Washington? Or does Sean McVay possibly get fired and then you bring him in here to Washington as your head coach? Because I think him and Sam Howell would have a perfect chemistry, and I think the scheme of Sean McVay would fit well with Sam Howell.
I hope so. The Rams are currently 4-6. Third,
Rams are 4-6.
third.
What's their remaining schedule?
I can pull it up. While I pull that up, I don't hate the thought of Sean McVay. I just don't think if he retires that he would want to come to Washington. The remaining schedule goes as follows: Cardinals, Browns, Ravens, us, Saints, Giants, and 49ers.
Okay. So honestly, I say 6-11.
They could easily go 8-9.
8-9, whatever. If they have another double-digit loss season, McVay may very well get fired. If
Okay.
not, if not, if you're Josh Harrison, Magic Johnson, do you call up Sean or the Rams and say, "Look, we want to trade for Sean McVay because and we'll give you whatever what you need. We won't give you whatever you need, but we'll give you what you really need."
I You've said it, Justin said it, Andrew said, I've seen a few of the content creators said, I am one of those people who is against trading for head coaches
That's fair.
because you saw what Sean Payton got. The Saints got a first round pick for him.
Yeah.
You see what I think Josh McDaniels. I think they had to give up a second or a third for him to New England. I'm against it.
Hmm.
I don't like it because okay, so what happens if we go down and get Bill Belichick, one of the
Oh
greatest,
God.
if not the greatest head coach of all time, especially in the 21st century, first round draft pick, right?
I
Or at least
honestly,
minimum of a second.
honestly, if if we were to get Bill Belichick here right now,
Hmm.
or this offseason, I'm sorry,
I hope not.
he's gonna want a head coaching job.
Yep.
Obviously, he's not taking no coordinator.
Nope.
The problem I have with him is he gonna be so focused on the defense to where he doesn't even build up the offensive line, and we're gonna have the same problem come next year, where the offensive line looks like some trash again,
Yeah.
and Sam Howell gets sacked so many times. Or is he really going to focus on both?
Bill Belichick is also 71 years old. He will turn 72 next April. That man is
Honestly,
that man is almost older than my grandmother.
honestly, if the Patriots are going to fire Bill Belichick, I think Bill Belichick is going to retire.
Either retire or here's a bold prediction is go to the Chargers.
Woo! Mm,
I can see it. But back to us. No, I don't want Bill Belichick.
no.
I forget who said I forget if it was Ron or Tony. I forget if it was Rio, if it was Reedy and Z. I forget it was one of our guys. If it was Corey. Shout out all of our sponsors and the fellas. Go support them. Is I want a head coach with the first letter being a 3 or a 4. I want a 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old head coach who can still walk with his original hips and knees, a man who can see without glasses, and a man whose hairline is as far back as Stephen A. Smith's.
Hey, you might as well just put me in the head coach. I know a lot about this team. Go ahead.
I'll go hire Rio. How about that? Rio can go in. You, me, Justin, Andrew, Corey, Tony, Reedy and Z, Tim, Rico. We can all be the round table of GMs and see what do we like, what we don't like. That's what
Bro, I
all we
will,
can all be
bro,
analysts.
bro, I will take this team and take it to a Super Bowl. No, just kidding. Just
I,
kidding.
I, I would promote Lake Lewis to senior analyst. I would promote Lewis Riddick. I would hire him as general manager. Actually, I would hire Lewis Riddick as general manager. I would bring back Julia Donaldson as the main media person that she rightfully deserves.
Yep.
So many moves you can make. The
Oh yeah,
name
most
cha-
definitely.
the name change, I don't know if we get the name change per se. I think there is a law through the trademark office of the U.S. I think it's the U.S. Trademark Office and the NFL about having so many years. I think this would be the third name change in about 4 years. So I think there is a time difference about if you can or not. But if not, fine. Either keep the Commanders name until you find a good one, or go back to the Washington football team.
Yeah.
Just
I
bring
don't
back,
know.
how about this? Best of both worlds. You keep the name, bring back the old jerseys. You just put the new W on top of that. You give us our yellow face masks back. You get rid of this diamond fading pattern on the jerseys. You make them solid blocks like you take the football team jerseys. You slap the commander's name and logo on the helmets, and you run with that until you find a solid name with good jerseys. And no, you cannot be the Sentinels, the Armada, the Presidents, nothing. I want Red Wolves, or Warriors. If you had to change
I
the new
wouldn't
name,
mind Warriors, and I wouldn't mind Red Hogs.
I wouldn't mind Red Hawks, but it'd be a little odd. But no, Washington Warriors, you bring back the Native American community, you can bring back the Redskins tribe and still support them while also promoting other, and you don't have to make the logo an Indian. You can make it
You could
something
just put
different.
the spear.
You could do the original Redskins spear.
Yeah.
Just change the R to a W.
Yeah.
All you got to do.
I don't know, man.
You have a red uni, you have a white uni, you have a yellow alternate. I would do the burgundy, I would do the yellow, and I would do burgundy pants. And then you do the 2005 throwbacks with this. No, actually, you make the 2005 spear unis your primary unis.
Actually, quick question. Speaking of uniforms, when the name came out last year,
Yep.
when we did the unveiling, um were we supposed to be getting a new jersey option by this coming up off season?
I thought so. I don't think that's gonna be the case.
Because let's be real, I'm tired of just seeing white on white, white on red on white, red on red, or black on black. Um,
Hey.
if I was Washington,
To be fair, that burgundy helmet, white uni, and burgundy pants goes hard.
um, yeah, it sort of does. If I was Washington, though, you know what I would bring back?
What?
Either white on gold or red on gold.
Yeah.
And get rid of the black uniforms because, for God's sake, we are cursed in those.
I call
Like,
those the
God, we play so bad in them.
I call those the Dan Snyder uniforms. That has
Yeah,
his
they are
handprint. That has his handprint all over it.
facts.
All over it.
So I get rid of the uniforms, but that
It,
is
it
just my personal opinion.
in theory and in concept, I think they looked nice in concepts and in theory. Execution, absolutely not.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know.
Absolutely not. But yeah, I mean, we can speculate all we want about head coaches and who we draft and all that. We won't know until the Super Bowl, really,
Yeah, pretty much.
because that's when all after the Super Bowl is when you can really do it. And I think it doesn't even start till March because that's how Jonathan Gannon got in trouble is he tampered with his contract after the NFC Championship game with Arizona. That's how Arizona had to get rid of like a third round pick or something.
Yeah.
Um,
Honestly,
yeah.
we just gotta I see then before we end this podcast or whenever we're gonna end it,
Hmm.
don't know. We could go on for hours about the scene. Um Either one of two things are gonna happen. One of two things is gonna happen. We're either A gonna tank the season, get a double-digit loss season, and that's my pick. Or B, we are for some reason we're gonna somehow try to pull off a miracle, win 4 out of 5, go 8-9, and we'll miss out, but we're gonna give the fans hope for the 2024 season. And that's not my pick. My first option is my pick, and that's
Yep.
because I feel like it's going to happen because I think Washington is honestly going to draft Brock Bowers come April.
I can see it. The only games I have confidence in is the Jets game and the Rams game. That's it.
And then Dallas,
Nope.
well, that's because they'll probably rest their starters.
Nope. No faith. If we can't beat the Giants' third string quarterback and second string offensive line, if we can't beat Tyrod Taylor, Tommy DeVito, um, barely beat who started Arizona? Not Clayton Tune.
Josh.
Josh Dobbs. If we can't beat them, I have no faith we beat San Francisco, Miami, Dallas. None.
I don't know. It just be something that team does because they always seem to show up for some
We
reason
do. We
when
do.
when they're out of the playoffs and the last month of the season, and we're like, dude, where has this been the whole damn season?
We'll be lucky to win 7 games, I think. I think 7-10 is our ceiling. I
Yeah.
think 4-13 is our floor right now.
And next year we'll be seeing, oh yeah, 10-7 is our ceiling next year.
Ceiling. We'll be lucky if we get 9 wins as our ceiling. 5 wins will be our floor.
God, I don't know with this team, man. I really don't.
You know what'll happen. But yeah, that'll wrap things up. Yeah, 45-10. Atrocious, abysmal, pathetic, whatever you want to call it. Like I said earlier, you participate in the Riley Reid challenge. Get absolutely bent over and ramrodded from behind. I'm disgusted. I'm glad Jack's
Yep.
gone. I'm glad Brett's gone. I thought Ron was next, but not yet.
Just,
He will take over. Oh, go ahead.
just one thing before we end. I swear, because we fired Jack Del Rio, right? Watch him. Watch Ron Rivera be like, and you seen the video I sent you earlier. If you let him across that line of scrimmage one damn time, I'm kicking all y'all off the team.
Mhm.
All right. Watch him be like, all right. Oh, Jack Del Rio's gone. Oh, it's actually time to maybe start doing something. And then for some reason they somehow pull off the upset against Miami. That would be some stuff they do.
If we somehow beat Miami in 12 days time, because we don't play this Sunday and we essentially have the week off because we played Sunday, Thursday, we won't play for a week. So that's like 10 days off, 10 days rest, which was well needed. If we somehow, by the grace of God, pulled out that Miami victory, not only would I say I would actually fire everyone. I would fire Ron and Bieniemy if we beat Miami because we're so inconsistent.
Yeah, I'd be like, so where has this been the whole season?
Yep. And then that would ruin Miami's Super Bowl contendership. They'd be like, is Tua not a top 5 QB? Are these guys not going to? Y'all lost to the Stephen A. Smith. Y'all lost to the Commanders with their corny name and their horrible offensive line. And
Well, I know that man was putting us on blast this morning.
Mm-hmm. Well, what as we deserved.
I don't even want to know what he said.
I didn't watch it. I might go back on the flight tomorrow and watch it. But yeah, I'll wrap things up. 45-10 is abysmal, but Jack Del Rio was gone. So hey, some good news came out of Thanksgiving weekend, I guess.
Yeah, sort of.
I guess. Anything else you want to
add? Let's somehow pull off an upset against Miami.
I hope so. And we and obviously we'll have predictions same time next week, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe here on the video and here on the channel. Head over to Instagram, follow us all over there. Head over to TikTok. I'm pumping out almost TikToks every single week after games, wins or loss, and however we want to do it. Follow us all over there. Shout out to our sponsors, Rio, Tony, Corey, Wash on the Daily, once again for supporting us. Shout out to my uncle for giving me the equipment to use. Growing Up Rock podcast, wherever you get your podcast, go follow him and listen to that. There's some great work over there with the boys. Hopefully we get the win. If not, it is what it is. But yeah, 45-10, atrocious, abysmal, but Jack Del Rio is gone. So I would give this Thanksgiving break as a football stance a 3 out of 10.
Yep.
3 out of 10. But it is what it is. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hail those Commanders, and don't forget to stay ballin'. We'll see y'all out there.